to Weekly Reddit, and in today's episode of r/Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for refusing to take pictures of my sister and her newborn baby? Am I the asshole for moving out cause my family keeps playing with my cane? Am I the asshole for telling my rich parents that my lower class friends and their families are better people than they could ever dream of being? Am I the asshole for telling my daughter it's her fault she has no pictures of herself? Am I the asshole for refusing to take pictures of my sister and her newborn baby? I, 26F, have taken up photography as a hobby a few years ago. I don't do it as much as I used to, but still quite enjoy it. 4 years ago, my sister, 30F, got paxed. It's an equivalent to marriage in France. She organized a low-key celebration with family with fun activities, dinner and stuff. She asked I could take picture during D-Day and I said yes. It was quite fun. I am an introverted person and I often used my camera to put between me and social interaction while still being included. It's a good memory. However, there was a side effect that I did not foresee. By being the only person to take pictures during the event, I am not in any of them. My sister put the group picture of this day with literally all of the family on all sides on her fridge, and every time I see it I can't help but feel a pang in my heart. Like I was erased from that day. Obviously that's my own fault for accepting to do it, and my own fault for not insisting to be relayed by someone else in order to be in the pictures. Therefore I have never talked about my regrets and my feelings. Since the PAX celebration, I was asked to handle the photography coverage on family events, notably my sister's firstborn pictures for his birth announcement card. The more picture I took, the more I felt like an outsider to these family events. So I started to bring my camera less and less. I live a good 6 hours away from the rest of my family, so I visit them like once every 2 months. On several occasions my bill asked if I had taken it with me and said that it was a shame when I answered that no, I did not. To be clear, I have never expressed my frustration or my feeling of becoming more estranged. My excuses ranged from I forgot to it's really heavy and I only got one bag for this trip. My sister had her second child last November and she asked if I could come and do a photo shoot like I did for her firstborn. I said maybe, but that due to COVID I might not be able to come in a while, so not to count on it, and maybe try to find someone else. I did not bring the camera at Christmas and no one mentioned it. I visited again last weekend, without the camera, and my sister asked me about it. She hadn't reminded me of the photo shoot in a while, so I apologized for not thinking about it and asked if one of her friends could not have done it. She said never mind, and that she might not send a birth announcement card for her second child. I felt so guilty, but at the same time, I don't want to do it. Photography is supposed to be a hobby I have fun with. I used it as a coping mechanism to avoid social interactions, but I try not to do that anymore, and people asking me to take pictures again makes me feel bad and angry at the same time. I fear that I might be the asshole because my sister is not a mind reader, and even if she could feel my discomfort, I was never open about it. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for moving out cause my family keeps playing with my cane? So I, 17F, still live with my mom, my stepdad, and my 2 half-siblings, 5M and 7F. My dad died when I was 5, driving me to the hospital. Mom didn't want to pay for an ambulance. He died in the crash and my leg and spine got busted up in a way that has left me needing a cane pretty much ever since. My stepdad's always been a little distant with me. He likes to make jokes about how I'm an early blooming black widow. I think he gets that from my mom, who blames me for my dad's death. I do too. It is my fault after all, so I don't push back on it. Anyway, the point is that with the current situation my parents are always looking for ways to get my half-siblings active and doing things without leaving the house, and have recently settled on scavenger hunts. I have no problem with this honestly. I wish they'd stop hiding stuff in my underwear drawer, but it's a 5Y0 and a 7Yo, so that's not the worst. My problem though is that they keep taking my cane when I'm not looking. I tend to get lost in my homework and my writing hobby and zone out, and having it be one of the items that my half-siblings have to find. When I complain to my stepdad, he's a sad so is usually the one running these things. He scolds me for being selfish and points out that my swivel chair has wheels if I need the bathroom and that they always get it to me before I have to go downstairs for dinner. I tried my mom yesterday, and she said that I was being a brat and that if I wanted a father who cared about me I shouldn't have killed my dad. I got really upset at that point and called my grandparents, my mom's parents. Dads are dead too. They showed up at 10 p.m. yesterday, and Grandma screamed at them while Grandpa packed my stuff up and helped me out to their car. My mum's been blowing up my phone and email, calling me all sorts of names and accusing me of turning her family against her and trying to get her in legal trouble since minors can't move out. And I can't help but think that maybe she's right, so. Am I the asshole? Edit, I would just like to say thank you to everyone who's taken the time to comment and tried to reassure me that I'm not the asshole. I can't reply to all of you, I lack the energy and I have homework, but I'm reading them all and I really appreciate it. You've given me a lot to think about, and I do thank you. Edit 2, Ayum. Wow. That's a lot of support, and a lot of messages. Too many for me to reply to. I'm sorry. Thank you all so much. I promise that I do care what all of you have to say, and I'm reading every chat, comment, and PM. I was so scared this wasn't going to go my way, so thank you, thank all of you. Am I the asshole for telling my rich parents that my lower class friends and their families are better people than they could ever dream of being? I'll start by saying that I'm a 17M. Both my parents are very successful lawyers, and we live in a super nice house. They have given me everything I could ask for, but they're not exactly there for me emotionally. I can't remember the last time we ate dinner together or had a decent conversation. Most of the time they're not even home and it's just me. I feel like a ghost in my own house. We moved to a new town not too long ago, and my parents enrolled me in the more exclusive private school in the area. I've gone to private schools my entire life. But my experience at this school was horrible. I'm short, effeminate looking, and obviously gay. The only reason I didn't get my ass seriously kicked was because my parents are rich. I begged my parents to switch schools, but they were hesitant because the only other option was public schooling. I finally escaped the private school of circle jerking, and enrolled in this new school. I guess I should mention that a few years ago, this school district expanded their enrollment zone to slightly cover a lower income area, which resulted in a handful of students from low-income families being enrolled. My first few days at this new school were brutal, with a lot of the same problems following me. Until I ran into Garfield. It's a family name. I swear he's not named after a cat. He spoke up and said he would love to be my lab partner when no one else would. We quickly became friends and he introduced me to his childhood friend also attending the school named Eduardo. Since my parents are so distant to begin with, they never noticed me spending so much time with my new friends. Garfield's mother is a waitress and his dad a construction worker. Eduardo's mother cleans houses and his dad works odd jobs, such as driving for Uber. Both of their families are amazing and involved. I started dating Garfield and had real friends for the first time ever. Both Garfield and Eduardo have come over to my house about twice and met my parents. The other day, my mother pulled me over and casually mentioned that I was spending a lot of time with that blonde boy, Garfield, and the Hispanic kid. She asked what their families did and where they lived, and I told her. She immediately became upset and said I was aiming way below my abilities and these were not the kind of influences I needed in my life. I asked why, and she said we just live different types of lives and I'll understand when I'm older. I freaked out and said both of them and their families have been there more for me in the 6 months I've known them than my parents ever have, and that they're cold, unfeeling snobs. My mom started crying and said public school has changed me for the worst. I've never seen her cry before, and I'm starting to feel horrible. Am I the arsehole for saying they're rich hypocrites and that my friends' families are better? Am I the arsehole for telling my daughter it's her fault she has no pictures of herself? Okay, so I, 54F, have 5 kids, 3 bio, 2 step. The issue with is with my eldest Clem, who is 26F. The only pictures I have of Clem are from the day she was born to around her 8th birthday, but none after that. She would ruin any picture she was in by making funny faces, hiding from the camera, making weird signs with her hands, or by messing with other people. It was like this until she was 12, when she started to straight up refuse. We would tell her to come for the family photo, but she would refuse. We never forced her, but would gently encourage her. She even refused school pictures. I have no pictures of birthdays, graduations, prom photos, holidays or days out with her in them. It broke my heart because I don't have any pictures of her growing up. Family photos look odd, because she's not in them. Clem is 26 now and is pregnant with her first child. She brought her so over for dinner, and after we were looking at photo albums, we got to hers and she saw hers was nearly empty. She asked where all her pictures were and I told her she refused to have any taken. She got all teary-eyed and told me to stop joking. At this point, I'm very annoyed. I tell her I'm not joking and that she did this to herself. I told her if she had swallowed her pride and had even one picture, we wouldn't be like this today. She got angry and thought I had printed out the ones she had messed up. She got super upset and went to sit in the car. The next today, I got a few texts from family members calling me an asshole for putting her on blast and humiliating her. Am I the asshole? Edit. Thank you for all your replies. I do want to clear something up. Whilst I agree it was a shitty move not to include goofy or rude pictures, that's not what Clem has an issue with. She's upset that I have no pictures of her from age 12-18 to fill the album with, and the few I do have, caused extreme reactions from Clem. I can't fill an album with pictures I never took. That's what she's upset about, not the omission of goofy, rude photos. Edit 2. To those of you saying who cares about rude gestures, or goofy faces, I didn't realize this needed saying, but the family photos weren't just for me, they were for everyone involved. Aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents on all sides, etc. I can guarantee none of them want an 8-year-old making the eat out gesture in what is meant to be their nice family photo. Edit 3. It's kind of sad to see so many people assume that because a child has anxiety, that I berate them whenever they mess around when taking a photo. I never yelled at Clem for making silly faces, would simply encourage her to stop and smile, but her rude gestures and faces would ramp up. But I guess that's what you expect on this sub. Everyone hates their kids. Am I the asshole? Update. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter it's her fault she has no pictures of herself? Update. So it's been less than a week because I wanted to make amends ASAP, so I printed off all the pictures and put them in the album. They didn't fill it, but I made a spread on one of the pages that said go make new memories with a picture of her and her fiancé. I put a lot of work into making it look cute. I called her and asked to talk. She arrived and we had a long discussion. I asked if she had any trauma or self-esteem issues, in a more tactful way, obviously, and she said no, she simply did not like having her photo taken and adopted the behavior of screeching and kicking to avoid photos. She did say she had anxiety and that's why she had panic attacks, but that it was mostly because she was gassing herself up, if that makes sense. I knew she had anxiety, but not that she gassed herself up, if that makes sense. BTW, Gassing herself up are her words, not mine. Regarding her visit, the one that kicked things off, she explained that she was embarrassed by her behavior and even more so when it was exposed to her fiancé. She said she didn't quite realize how much time she had lost and that it was very emotional time for her. I apologized for my wording during our spat and we both made up. I even showed her the post and we read the comments together. We had quite a laugh at all the armchair psychologists and internet detectives that claimed just because she knew a sexual gesture as a child, she was in danger. Some people were writing borderline fanfiction and rewriting my entire history with my daughter based on one post. That's talent. After a little bit of talking, I brought out the album and gave it to her. She was happy, and she seemed to take responsibility over the fact she refused to have pics taken. I told her I had printed out the candid ones from when she was 12-18 and asked if she wanted them. She said no. She really liked the page with her and her fiancé, which made me super happy. So that's that. You might find this hard to believe, but other than this incident, which we are working through, we have a very good relationship. Edit. Wow, thank you for all your kind comments and rewards. I'm slowly working through all the comments and replying to as many as I can.
Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up with the best content from Reddit.